21-year-old, up to 21-year-old single malt Irish whiskies combined with 3-year-old grains. Ooh, interesting. Hi, WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. And today I have St. Patrick's Irish Whiskey. 21-year-old, up to 21-year-old single malt Irish whiskies combined with 3-year-old grains. Ooh, interesting. Distilled, matured, blended, and bottled in Cork, Ireland. Triple distilled. And what we have here is a brand new distillery that started 2014. They had this really, really weird name at the beginning, and then they changed it into St. Patrick's Distillery. What could be more Irish than St. Patrick? The patron saint of Ireland that brought Christianity to that island. So in April 2015, they finally had their first product, which was a vodka. So if you go online, you can see how they make the potato vodka there. And then 2015 in July, they actually sold their first whiskey, which was this. A mix of 3-year-olds and up to 21-year-old malts from different distilleries, according to my information. 21-year-old Bushmills, plus maybe something from Middleton. Middleton is from Cork, Ireland. So in Germany, this is available through Irish Whiskies, irish-whiskies.de. 40%, 43 euros, which would translate into about $48. 48, I'm sorry. And this is still available. And it was very, very interesting. The first time they sold this in Germany, the first order from Germany came November 2015, basically just 4 or 5 months after they started producing this. And the first order that was sent to the UK, Ireland, UK are not actually the same, especially only Northern Ireland belongs to UK. That was in the summer of 2017. So it took the people from England, London, 2 years longer to discover there's a place called St. Patrick's Distillery. I love that. All right, so very, very good. Let's put this in the glass and let's test it. My job is, as I've said, to taste and to review rare and exotic whiskeys that are very, very hard to find otherwise in the English-speaking world. Luckily, there's a company in Germany called irishwhiskies.de. DE is for Deutschland, which is Germany, that has a great connection with a lot of the new producing distilleries in Ireland. And so we get things in Ireland, and we get things in Germany sometimes before they actually have them in Ireland or the UK or anywhere else in the world. So the nose, what does my nose say? Very unspectacular. There's not much going on with the nose. The first time I nosed it, I was fairly disappointed, to be honest. There's not much there. I love my fruity whiskeys, especially from Ireland. The best fruity whiskey, the benchmark for fruity whiskey, for fruity whiskiness, not a real word, is the Dingle first batch. That was so much Hawaiian punch fruitiness. It was amazing. This doesn't have hardly any of that. What I get is a little bit of tangerine. Just a little tiny tad bit of tangerine in there. No, not a great noser, I'm sorry. Let's taste it. Now, maybe one of the reasons why grain whiskey really isn't the best whiskey in the world. All right, column stills. Very, very quickly, high alcohol level, almost all the flavors cooked out of it. And what they do in the blended industry is they take a foundation of grain whiskey and then blend in the single malts to make it have the flavor. But the body of this whiskey would be the grain. And 3-year-old grain whiskey is not very, let's just say, lively. They did use first fill bourbon barrels, which means they were used in America first, brought over to Ireland, reassembled, and then for the first time used over there. That's why it's first filled bourbon barrels. Otherwise, it'd been first filled oak barrels. Really don't have much on the nose. Sorry. Wow, it's really like it's a roller coaster. It comes in fairly flat, but then that single malt whiskeys kick in. It's oily, really oily, and then for some reason there's a drop off in the flavor. It just plateaus, and then the oiliness and the malts kick back in. But unfortunately, what's left over at the end is more the grain than anything else. And then towards the aftertaste is more of a graininess. It's a little bit hot, just a tiny bit, not much, but a little bit hot. The oiliness of the malts are there. This is really, really interesting. I think it was High West that did something very, very similar. They took, I think, a 17-year-old rye whiskey, combined it with 2 or 3-year-old self-made fresh spirits from their own distills, and put it together. I think it was called Contradiction. That was the bottle with the elephant on top of the barrel, balancing and so on. It was this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's exactly what I get here, back and forth. The young and the old don't really harmonize, but they are kind of battling it out. And that was this old, new, old, new. Unfortunately, the new wins, and the new is the first thing you get, and the old's in the middle. If you could have kept that old a little bit more, that would have been perfect. What is the ratio of old versus new? No one tells me. I'm just WhiskyJason, whiskey from the viewpoint of a dumb American in Germany. I'm guessing something along the lines between 80-20, maybe 5% more, maybe 5% less of the single malt. I don't know. I've done some blending myself at home and tried different things, and I would assume that this would be about 75% single 3-year-old grain and 25% 21. So up to 21-year-old malts. It could be less, who knows? And I assume, my guess is that the malts come from Bushmills. By the way, does anyone know a 21-year-old Middleton Irish whiskey? Nothing comes to mind when I think about Middleton. 21-year-old. The only thing I know that's 21-year-old is up in Bushmills, and they used to be together until they sold it, they traded it for a tequila brand down in Mexico. Shame on you. Was it Diageo? Yeah, I think it was. Or was it Pernod? I forgot. Jason doesn't know his brands anymore. It's a really interesting, but not perfect whiskey. I like that end. There's a lot of creaminess, oiliness, woodiness, flavorfulness. I'm inventing words, by the way. Towards the end there, but then the grain kicks back in and kind of fights and then wins at the end, which is a shame. So, I'm still going to give it a B-. It's unique, it's different, it's a fight in the mouth, but the price point, as I said, 43 euros, $48 about, I'm going to give it a C-. I think the perfect price would have been about $37, $38. So about 33 euros, about 10 euros off would have been the perfect price for something which is basically, or a majority of 3-year-old grain whiskey. Hey, who asked me? I'm just WhiskyJason. All right, thank you very much for watching. WhiskyJason here. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others about this. And also, if you have any ideas about great whiskeys in Irish or also America or also in Canada that are very, very rare, drop me a line. Maybe you have a sample, you'd like to send it to me. I would love that to test them online here. Thank you very much for watching. All the best and see you soon. Whiskey Jason here.